Introduction to Eden. In the vast expanse of space, where stars twinkled like distant diamonds scattered across a velvet canvas, there existed countless stories waiting to be uncovered. Among the myriad of travelers navigating this cosmic sea was Eden, a seasoned spacefarer known for his meticulous nature and unyielding curiosity. His ship, a robust cargo trawler named the Voyager, was his sanctuary, equipped with advanced technology that allowed him to traverse the galaxies while harvesting valuable resources from gas giants. Anomaly detected. One fateful day, as he drifted near a gas giant, Eden noticed an anomaly, a peculiar static emanating from a long-range observational array. At first, it was merely an annoyance, like an itch he couldn't scratch. However, as he fine-tuned his instruments, he realized that this static was not random. It was repeating in a rhythmic pattern. Intrigued, he decided to investigate further. With nothing pressing on his schedule, his cargo contract allowed him some leeway. Eden began tinkering with the observational array. As he isolated the feed static into a separate display, his eyes widened in disbelief at what unfolded before him. An image of humanoids in distress aboard a craft that appeared to be malfunctioning. Smoke billowed from behind them as they moved frantically within their vessel. The decision to act. The sight struck a chord deep within Eden. He recognized that look of desperation. It was all too familiar. After running some calculations on his ship's fuel reserves, he discovered that he had enough refined gas to make a jump to the source of the signal and return without jeopardizing his contract. It was a risk worth taking, a chance to save lives from an otherwise cruel fate in the void of space. With determination fueling his actions, Eden engaged his skip drive. In less than a day, he emerged from hyperspace at the coordinates where the distress signal originated. Before him floated what appeared to be a derelict ship, half the size of the Voyager, yet still bearing signs of life. Lights flickered across its surface like fireflies in the night, but as he drew closer, he realized those lights were not mere surface illuminations. They were windows through which tiny figures moved. Docking with the unknown. Upon docking at what seemed to be the largest entry port on this alien craft, a cargo bay filled with thousands of these diminutive beings, Eden felt a mix of apprehension and excitement. As he carefully entered, stooping low to avoid hitting his head on overhead structures, he was met with a sight that would etch itself into his memory forever. The tiny humanoids, later identified as humans, gazed up at him with wide eyes filled with trepidation. Their expressions shifted quickly from fear to elation as they rushed forward, eager to touch him and embrace him with their stubby arms. Their cheers echoed through the bay like music, a symphony of hope amidst despair. Initial impressions. Eden observed them closely. Despite their small stature, each no larger than his hand, they radiated resilience. He learned they had been adrift for days after their generation ship suffered catastrophic damage due to micrometeoroid storms. They had lost many lives during their perilous journey through space, clinging desperately to hope until this moment when salvation had finally arrived. As they began transferring themselves off their damaged vessel onto the Voyager, Eden couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of responsibility wash over him. He had not just rescued them. He had become their lifeline in this vast universe filled with uncertainties. A new beginning. Days passed as Eden adjusted to life aboard his ship with these unexpected guests. He watched as they spread throughout his vessel like an eager infestation, exploring every nook and cranny while adapting quickly to their new environment. Their resourcefulness amazed him. They began organizing supplies and even tackling some lingering issues aboard the Voyager, such as pest control against mature yop flies that had evaded his cleaning routines. Despite their dire circumstances, laughter often filled the air as humans shared stories among themselves in animated discussions. They brought with them remnants of their culture, artifacts that spoke volumes about their history and struggles back on their home planet now rendered uninhabitable due to solar storms and pollution. Bonds formed through kindness. Eden found himself drawn into their world. He learned snippets of their language through gestures and expressions filled with emotion. One day, after sharing rations from his own supplies, a meager offering compared to what they needed, the humans erupted in cheers once more. Their gratitude overwhelmed him. It was evident that kindness transcended size or species. In this newfound alliance forged amidst adversity, both Adnan and the humans discovered that they were not just surviving together. They were thriving against all odds in an unforgiving universe. Little did they know that challenges lay ahead. Tests that would challenge their bond and force them to confront unimaginable consequences stemming from choices made in moments of desperation. As the Voyager sailed through uncharted territories together, with its new crew members on board, one thing became clear. Humanity was not just about survival, but also about connection. And sometimes those connections could change everything in ways one could never foresee. The rescue. Approaching the derelict ship, Adnan stood at the helm of the Voyager, peering through the viewport at the derelict ship that had once been a beacon of hope for its crew. Now, it floated aimlessly in the void, a shell of its former self, battered and scarred from a relentless barrage of micrometeoroids. Adnan's heart raced as he prepared to dock. He had seen many ships in distress before, but this one was different. It held lives that depended on him. As he maneuvered his ship closer, Adnan's mind raced with thoughts of what he might find aboard. Would the crew be alive? Would they be hostile? He steeled himself for whatever awaited him, reminding himself of his mission: to save those who could not save themselves. Docking procedures. With practiced precision, Adnan initiated the docking sequence. The mechanical arms of the Voyager extended toward the airlock of the derelict ship, securing their connection with a satisfying click. A soft hiss echoed through the cabin as the airlock sealed, allowing him to prepare for entry. Before stepping out, Adnan donned his protective gear. The last thing he wanted was to be caught off guard by an unexpected atmosphere or hazardous conditions. He took a deep breath, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation, and activated his suit's communication system. "Hello? Is anyone there?" He called out into the void, hoping against hope that someone would respond. First contact. As he stepped into the airlock and cycled it open, Adnan was greeted by a scene that would haunt him for years to come. The interior was dimly lit, with flickering lights casting eerie shadows across the walls. He could see remnants of what had once been a bustling crew. Personal belongings scattered about, signs of struggle evident everywhere. Then he heard it, a faint whimpering sound coming from deeper within the ship. Adnan's heart sank as he followed the sound, moving cautiously through the narrow corridors. Each step echoed in his ears like a drumbeat, amplifying his anxiety. "Stay calm. I'm here to help," he shouted again, hoping to reassure whoever was in distress. Finding survivors. Finally, he reached what appeared to be a common area. The sight before him made his heart ache. A group of tiny humanoids huddled together, their faces streaked with soot and fear. They looked up at him with wide eyes, fearful yet hopeful. "Who are you?" one of them managed to croak out. Their voice trembled as they spoke. "I'm Adnan," he replied gently. "I'm here to rescue you." The relief on their faces was palpable. They rushed toward him, their tiny forms colliding against his legs as they clung to him like lifelines in a stormy sea. Adnan knelt down to their level, trying to absorb their fear and confusion, understanding their plight. As they began to calm down, Adnan learned more about their situation. They were part of a generation ship named the Star of Orion, which had been traveling for decades in search of a new home after their planet became uninhabitable due to solar storms and pollution. Their journey had taken a disastrous turn when they encountered a micrometeoroid storm that severely damaged their vessel. "We thought we were going to die," another survivor said, tears streaming down her face. "We sent out distress signals but didn't know if anyone would come." Adnan felt a surge of guilt wash over him. They had waited too long for help. But now that he was here, he vowed not to let them down. Organizing evacuation. "Let's get you all out of here," Adan said firmly. "Follow me." He led them back through the ship's corridors toward the Voyager. As they moved, he noticed how fragile they looked, small and delicate compared to his own sturdy frame. He felt an overwhelming urge to protect them, as if they were precious cargo. Once aboard the Voyager, Adan quickly assessed their needs. He offered them food and water while ensuring they were comfortable in their new surroundings. The humans were overwhelmed by everything. The size of his ship, the technology they had never seen before, but most importantly, they were grateful for their newfound safety. Building trust. Days turned into weeks as Adan worked tirelessly to help the survivors acclimate to life aboard his ship. He learned more about them, how they communicated through gestures and sounds that seemed foreign yet familiar at times. Slowly but surely, trust began to blossom between them. One day, while sharing stories over dinner made from rations Adan had salvaged from his supplies, one of the humans named Leela spoke up. "You saved us," she said earnestly, "but we want to help you too." Adan raised an eyebrow in surprise. "Help me? How?" Leela gestured toward her fellow survivors who were busy organizing their makeshift living quarters aboard the Voyager. "We may be small, but we're resourceful. We can assist you with repairs and maintenance." A new alliance. Adan considered her words carefully. Although he had initially viewed them as refugees needing rescue, he began to see them as allies, partners in this vast universe filled with uncertainties. "All right," he agreed with a smile. "Let's work together." With newfound purpose, both Adan and the humans began collaborating on various tasks around the ship, repairing systems that had fallen into disrepair during their journey, and even improving some aspects of the Voyager using their ingenuity and creativity. The power of cooperation. As weeks passed by, what started as an uneasy alliance transformed into something deeper, a bond forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. The humans brought fresh perspectives that challenged Adan's way of thinking. They taught him resilience in adversity, while learning from his vast knowledge of space travel. One evening, while gazing at distant stars twinkling outside the viewport together with Leela beside him, Adan felt an overwhelming sense of belonging wash over him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in years. "We're not just surviving anymore," Leela said softly as she pointed out constellations she had learned about during their travels together. "No," Adan replied thoughtfully. "We're thriving." Conclusion. A journey together. As time went on and life aboard the Voyager became more harmonious than ever before, both Adan and the humans realized that this journey was just beginning. Their destinies intertwined in ways neither could have imagined when fate first brought them together amidst chaos and despair. Little did they know that challenges lay ahead, tests that would challenge their bond and force them to confront unimaginable consequences stemming from choices made in moments of desperation. Together, they would navigate not only through uncharted territories, but also through uncharted emotions. The complexities of friendship formed under extraordinary circumstances, and ultimately discover what it truly meant to be alive in this vast universe, filled with possibilities waiting just beyond reach. Building trust at new normal. Life aboard the Voyager had transformed dramatically since the arrival of the tiny humans. Adan found himself adjusting to a new rhythm, one that included not only the routines of space travel, but also the vibrant energy that the humans brought with them. Their laughter echoed through the ship, a sound that had become a comforting backdrop to his daily tasks. Adan had never imagined that sharing his space with others could be so fulfilling. The humans had quickly adapted to their new environment, creating makeshift homes in various corners of the ship. They repurposed materials from Adan's supplies, crafting cozy spaces filled with their own unique touches. Brightly colored fabrics adorned the walls, and small trinkets they had salvaged from their previous ship decorated their living quarters. Each day, Adan marveled at their creativity and resilience. Learning each other's ways as days turned into weeks, Adan and the humans began to communicate more effectively. Initially, their conversations were filled with gestures and expressions, but soon they started to learn each other's languages. The humans taught Adon simple phrases in their tongue, while he shared snippets of his own language in return. It was a slow process, but each small victory brought them closer together. One afternoon, while sitting in the common area, Leela approached him with a bright smile. "Adon," she said, her voice tinged with excitement, "we've made something for you." Curiosity piqued. Adon followed her to a gathering of humans who had been busy working on a project. In the center of their makeshift workshop lay a small model of the Voyager, crafted from bits of metal and fabric. It was a tribute to their new home, a symbol of gratitude for his kindness. "This is amazing," Adon exclaimed, kneeling down to examine the intricate details they had painstakingly put together. "You've captured every curve." The humans beamed with pride at his reaction. "It's our way of saying thank you," Leela explained. "You saved us, and we want you to know how much we appreciate it." Sharing stories. With trust blossoming between them, they began sharing stories about their lives before this unexpected journey together. Adam learned about Earth, their home planet, filled with vast landscapes and rich cultures. The humans spoke of their families, traditions, and dreams for the future. In return, Adam shared tales of his own species and the stars they had traveled through. He spoke of distant worlds and cosmic wonders that lay beyond their reach. The humans listened intently, eyes wide with wonder as he described nebula glowing in vibrant colors and planets teeming with life. One evening, as they gathered around a makeshift fire created from salvaged materials, Leela asked him about his past. "What was it like before you became a spacefarer?" she inquired. Adon hesitated for a moment, memories flooding back, of his home planet where he once belonged to a royal family tasked with protecting their people. He shared stories of battles fought and lost, of honor and duty that had led him to leave everything behind. "I thought I was destined for greatness," he confessed softly, "but I found myself adrift among the stars instead." A shared purpose. As they exchanged stories over time, it became clear that both Adon and the humans were searching for purpose in this vast universe. They realized that while they came from different worlds, their struggles were not so different after all. Inspired by their conversations, Leela proposed an idea one day. "What if we worked together to make the Voyager even better? We could create a garden where we can grow food and share our cultures." Adon's eyes lit up at the thought. "A garden? That's brilliant. We could use some fresh produce on board." With renewed enthusiasm, they set to work transforming one of the cargo bays into a vibrant garden space. The humans used seeds salvaged from their previous ship, corn being one of their staples, and began planting them in makeshift planters created from discarded materials. Adon watched as they tended to the plants with care and dedication. Their laughter filled the air as they shared tips on gardening techniques he had never considered before. He marveled at how quickly they adapted to this new endeavor. It was as if they were reclaiming a piece of their lost home through this shared project. Facing challenges together. However, not everything was smooth sailing. As weeks passed by, challenges began to arise, both within the Voyager and outside its hull. The limited resources on board started to dwindle faster than anticipated due to the sheer number of inhabitants now living aboard. One day during a routine check on supplies, Adon discovered that food rations were running low. Panic surged through him as he realized that without immediate action, both he and the humans would face starvation within weeks. Gathering everyone together in the common area later that evening felt daunting. He knew he had to address this issue head-on. As he stood before them, a towering figure among tiny humanoids, he took a deep breath. "Everyone," he began solemnly, "we need to talk about our food situation." Concerned murmurs rippled through the crowd as they listened intently. "We have enough rations for only a few more weeks," he continued. "We need to find a solution or risk running out completely." Layla stepped forward bravely, despite her small stature. "We can work together. We've been growing corn, Maybe we can expand our garden or find other ways to gather food. Adnan nodded appreciatively at her suggestion, but knew it wouldn't be easy given their circumstances. A collective effort. Inspired by Lila's words, everyone rallied together to brainstorm ideas for gathering more food sources while continuing to care for their growing crops aboard the Voyager. They divided into teams. Some focused on expanding the garden, while others explored potential salvage opportunities nearby asteroids or derelict ships that might hold useful supplies. Days turned into frantic weeks filled with hard work and determination as both Adnan and the humans pushed themselves beyond what they thought possible, a testament not only to survival, but also unity forged through adversity. During these efforts, Adnan witnessed firsthand how resilient these tiny beings were. They faced each obstacle with creativity and tenacity that left him in awe time after time again. Celebrating small victories. As crops began sprouting from their makeshift garden beds, a vibrant green amidst metallic surroundings, the crew celebrated small victories along the way. Successful harvests brought joy, while salvaging missions yielded unexpected treasures like canned goods or preserved fruits left behind by previous travelers. One evening after an especially fruitful day spent harvesting corn together under twinkling stars visible through the Voyager's viewport, Leela approached him again with excitement dancing in her eyes. "Eden, look what we've grown," she exclaimed proudly as she presented him with freshly harvested corn cobs decorated like trophies, their hard work paying off beautifully. He couldn't help but smile at her enthusiasm. It reminded him just how far they'd come since first meeting amidst chaos aboard that derelict ship so long ago. Conclusion. Strengthening bonds. Through these shared experiences, both good and bad, Adnan found himself forming deeper connections not only with Lila, but all those aboard the Voyager. They had become more than mere survivors. They were now family bound by shared trials faced together amidst endless stars, stretching far beyond imagination itself. As trust continued blossoming between them, a bond strengthened through cooperation, they realized that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them united as one crew navigating uncharted territories, filled with possibilities waiting just beyond reach.